This is exactly how one 60-second video generated over $280,000 in cash. It's crazy to say. And 100K of that was just within a 30-day time span of us actually running this advertisement. So as you can see in the screenshots, we spent, I think, around like 30K on this, and then we generated over 218K. It's actually crazy to say. And then like I think 60K of that came from like different processes within that actual period. And I'm going to show you guys the video and obviously the structure of the actual content itself, because I feel like if you know how to write these types of videos, you can generate a crazy amount of wealth if it goes to the right people and you have a good process behind it. And this is all achieved by running cold traffic funnels, and it hasn't just worked for him. The same methodologies work for other guys. Like for example, I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but Nero spent around like $50 on this, generated like 10K in it's around 10K in USD. This is in pounds, and now he cruises around 100K a month. His video testimony was on Malando. Amal spent like 80, maybe like 4,200 somewhere around there, and then obviously he had a bunch of closes between that. I think he had like one of the craziest ROASs I've ever seen. I have some private clients as well too. I think we spent around like 1,800 dirhams or something like this, and not dirhams, USD, because I think I calculated it over there, and we brought back like 15K in cash, which is actually kind of crazy. There's a bunch of guys that have done this for. I have NDAs with them, so I can't obviously share it to you because they pay me a lot of money and they don't want a lot of people to know that they make a lot of money. So I just want to give you the script that these people pay me thousands and thousands of dollars to craft for them completely for free, so you guys can use this information to do whatever you want to do. Write your own scripts, run your own ads, build your own sales processes. You can do whatever, but I'm going to explain the actual script and the actual structure of the video itself, because this person has kindly said go do it. So before I do that, let me just actually show you the video itself. So this is exactly how it works, and I just want to break down like what this actually is. So this is an ad specifically for people that wanted to get into sales and obviously learn how they can obviously make money online with high ticket remote sales. So this ad is trying to target people that work 9 to 5s and convince them to obviously join and obviously learn directly from him and buy his coaching program. So I'm just going to play the ad itself over here, and then within the ad you can just kind of see what's going on to obviously make these people convert.
If you are someone who's working a 9 to 5, you're making more than 3K a month, but you are working way more hours than you'd like, and your job isn't remote, then keep watching. This video is for you. You probably searched up ways online of making money and you came across Amazon FBA, SMMA, drop shipping, but you don't want to go through the pain of building a business, because all you want is to be able to work your own hours in a remote fashion, and you don't want to have to build a complicated business in order to do that. If you relate with this, then high ticket sales might just be the answer for you. Now, before you click off, this exact same model led me to making over 300K in commissions in a single year, 23 by the way, and I did not have to build a business in order to do that. All high ticket remote sales is partnering up with already successful companies and taking their sales calls for them with people that literally already want to buy. The best part about this is you don't even need to come from a sales background in order to succeed at this. Just like Alex and Heyman, both of these guys left their high paying engineering jobs to pursue high ticket remote sales, and now they're both clearing over 15K per month in commissions. Or Matthew, this guy's working at his parents' restaurant on the weekends and now clears over 20K per month in commissions at the age of 20. So if you want to learn on how you can do the exact same thing, then DM me the word closer and I will show you how you can make the exact same transition.
So before I get into like obviously breaking down like what we just seen right now, I want you guys to understand this. Every single word within an ad is calculated. There's a reason why every single word is there, because what we're basically trying to do is we're trying to give enough data to Facebook where it's not too much where people are going to get bored, but it's the right amount of information where Facebook will know exactly who is you're trying to target, and then you can pretty much see it do its magic from there. So let me explain the actual video itself. So I like to follow a very simple structure, which is like hook, rehook. I like to give the value, case studies, and then I like CTI. I make it super simple. It's never complicated. A lot of people try to have like wacky different structures. I just keep my stuff very simple, but within the actual content is where it starts to get like a little bit techie. So let me explain what's going on in here. So the start of this is basically the hook. If you are someone that's working a 9 to 5 and you're making more than 3K a month, but you're working way more hours than you like and your job isn't remote, then keep watching this video for you. So it's not necessarily the best call out ever, but it's a little bit more direct where if someone sees that, they're going to know exactly who this is for. It's for someone that works a 9 to 5, someone that's probably working a 9 to 5 where they are making more than like 3K a month. It's a little bit more of like a professional 9 to 5. And that's also like the theme of the video itself, because like I said, when you're doing these types of ads, everything has to be calculated, even down to the way the video looks and the way the lighting is and the way the music is and the way the video is edited. You have to make it seem a little bit more professional if you're trying to target these types of people, because these types of people are kind of used to that type of stuff. Okay, if you do too much of the flashy shit, whatever, you kind of trigger the responses to be like, oh, this person person is automatically someone that is just not trustworthy. This is just kind of like a child. Like, you want to make your stuff a little bit more professional, because if you're trying to attract those types of people, that's what you have to do. But if, let's say, it's the vice versa, you can kind of get away with making your videos a little bit more cringy, and then you will attract those types of people that are a little bit more cringy. You get what I mean? There's a reason why if you see some ads where, you know, they kind of look like kiddish or whatever, you check the comment section, it's all kids. But if you see some ads that are a little bit more professional, whatever, it's a bunch of angry older people that are just basically calling the video scam. So it's like your demographic and how you look and how you portray yourself in the video is going to attract the types of people from the actual ads itself. So we basically say, hey, if you're working 9 to 5, you're making more than 3K, but you're working way more hours than you'd like. So someone that is feeling like, you know, they're working way too much, ideally that type of person is someone that is working a lot harder, and obviously working, you know, a lot of hours associates yourself with, like, you know, not being able to spend time and do the things that you actually enjoy. Obviously spend time with your loved ones, actually, like, you know, spend the money that you're making. So this is the type of messaging that's going to attract that type of person that is working a lot of hours, and typically they might be not happy with that, and your job isn't remote. So the major selling point of this offer is it's remote. You can do it from home, you can talk to a computer and make money. So if someone is already working a remote job, they might not, yes, they could see the issue of transitioning to it, but we deduced from, you know, a bunch of market research and a bunch of people obviously paying him from these ads, that the types of people that bought his stuff were the people that didn't work remote jobs and they wanted to work remote jobs. So that way they can kind of, like, you know, see, oh, there's a different opportunity, something new here, I want to check this out. If this is you, then keep watching. This video is for you. So that's that side. You've probably searched up a bunch of ways of making money online, and you've come across Amazon FBA, dropshipping, but you don't want to go down the pain of building a business, because all you want to be able to do is work your own hours in a remote fashion. So before I get into the rest, this part is super important, because this is what I like to call a V-hook. And what we're trying to do here, guys, is when I'm running my ads, I like to do broad targeting. What that actually means is I just like to let Facebook do its thing. Like, yo, here's the creative, here's what I have in the primary text or whatever. Go find the types of people that are going to relate to this. Someone that has been working a ton of hours than they would like, and they're not working a remote job, they've probably been searching up ways to make money online. So that's the reason why we say this. And if you can make someone feel like you understand them, you can basically just get them to do whatever you want. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make these people understand that, hey, we get your pain. You've probably been trying to get into online business anyways, because the reason why, and this is why it's super important, a golden nugget I'm going to tell to you guys, when you guys close people from ads, you need to know why. You need to know what they were doing before, why they even bothered to click on yourself in the first place, because I'm sure you probably go through a bunch of different ads. You probably don't even click on any ads, to be honest. So the type of person that will click on an ad and obviously go through that whole funnel, they have to be a specific type of person that you really want to understand why, so you can attract more of them. So what we do is we tell people, look, ask your clients who paid you from ads why they paid, and then make ads for those types of people. So for example, you probably search up ways of making money online, came across Amazon, blah, blah, blah. All the people that paid him, they all came from this stuff. They all tried maybe SMMA, maybe they tried drop shipping, or maybe they looked into it. They've seen this stuff. So when you say that, you're gonna make them feel like, oh shit, this guy kind of gets me. I have a look at this stuff. But you don't want to go through the pain of building the business, because all you want to be able to do is work your own hours in a remote fashion. So very key on the word remote. The reason why people were buying this is because they wanted to work from home. They didn't want to go to an office, clock in, sit in a cubicle, and obviously sit and slave away for 12, 13 hours a day. They wanted to work from home at their own hours, and they didn't want to do something complex, because there's certain types of people that you'd be surprised, they don't want to build a business. They actually just don't. They just want to make money. Some people don't want to, like, you know, make 100K a month or 200K a month like most of us do. Some people genuinely would be happy with 10, 15, 20, 30K, and they would be willing to pay to have that lifestyle. So we're basically trying to cater to those people, because like I said, those are the people that we're buying directly from his ads. Okay, so guys, and if you're enjoying this stuff, by the way, I have a free newsletter where I basically just free give a bunch of game on like actual ads and just pay the acquisition, whatever. It's completely free. You can just opt in down below. But anyways, if you relate with this, and high ticket sales might just be the answer for you. Now, before you click off, because at this point, people might be getting a little bit bored. They're like, okay, cool, I get it. You're talking about my pain points. You're right. What do you have? They're kind of getting a little bit more curious. So I like to just do a little, I just like to rehook for maybe like a paragraph, not too long, because you don't also want to get people to be like, all right, what is this guy trying to allude to? You get what I mean? Like, you want to be kind of straight to the point. This is the exact same model that led me to making over 300K in commissions in a single year. So this is super important. What we're basically trying to say here is trying to give them authority to tell us, like, look, we've done this before. If you guys don't do authority in your actual ads, like, bro, most people I'm not going to do anything. And some people would literally hear the authority and just click straight away from there. They'll be like, okay, cool, this guy's the guy. In a single year, 23 by the way, and I didn't have to build a business in order to do that. So this is the real tiger. So a lot of people have been obviously searching, like, they want to make money online and they're like, yo, I want to build a business. But then he's saying, hey, you can make this amount of money, pure profit. You don't have to build a business. And all you just did is you had to partner up with already successful companies and basically take their sales calls for them. So we're basically trying to explain the model is very simple. So this part I like to do is the value bit. So I like to do this simply because, and you guys can obviously like do this in your own manners. I like to do this because I like to explain what they're actually trying to get into. Some people like to make their stuff, especially BizOps, they like to make it super ambiguous, but I don't like doing that simply because you get a lot of clicks, yes, of course, because you get people extremely curious, but your conversions don't typically, match that. I would much rather prefer to let people know that they have an idea of what they're getting into instead of like them clicking on it because they're super curious. And then when they realize and they watch maybe like, 5-10 minutes of the VSL, they're like, yeah, this ain't for me, I'm out. Then you've just kind of like wasted your time because you would get a lot of people clicking, but obviously, you would have, if you're selling something that it just doesn't align with them, it doesn't work. So if someone reads this and they see this part, is like, hey, I would probably be good at partnering up with these people and taking calls for them. I would want to do this. If they see this part and then they click on the ad, then, it's a much higher conversion rate. Maybe if I get less clicks because I've obviously given away what it is, it's a higher conversion rate because I could have basically said, there's a very specific system that we use to pretty much generate this stuff for us. And, people don't know what it is. It's a very specific system. And then people opt in and then they're like, it's closing. And then they're like, yeah, I don't want to do closing. Then you've kind of just wasted your time. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be some people that might watch this up to here being like, okay, cool. What's the business model? Then they hear this and they click off because they're like, yeah, I don't want to do sales calls, which is fine. That way we didn't have to get them to click and waste our time. Like we can get the people that are actually interested. So that's my thought process on it. I don't like making it too ambiguous, but I like to make it ambiguous enough to the point where someone is curious enough to click. And the best part about this is you don't even need to come from a sales background in order to succeed this. So this is the real big kicker as well too, because when people watch videos, they always have misconceptions and not misconceptions. They always have, how do I describe it? They have prerequisite notions. So what that actually means is that they think a certain way when they're looking at it. They're trying to basically see certain things that's going to prove their prerequisite notions. What that basically means in English is people have beliefs when they see your videos for the first time. So if let's say you see a random guy, let's say walking on the street with shirtless, people are going to look at the video and be like, what's this guy gonna do? Like, what bullshit is he gonna do? But if you see a guy, professional, wearing a shirt or whatever, talking to the guy and they're like, okay, cool, what's this guy gonna sell to me? But if, let's say, for example, someone is doing a skit and, they're walking around, they're like, okay, cool, what's this guy gonna do? Like, everyone has like notions that they have in their mind from obviously consuming a bunch of different content. So what happens is people are thinking to themselves, okay, cool, this is really cool, Hassan, but obviously you probably need to be super smart to make this. But then when you kick them in the ass and tell them, no, you actually don't even need to come from a sales background to succeed at this, they're like, oh shit, that's actually pretty cool. So I always like to make it seem easy within the actual ad itself, because like I said, everyone has notions that things are more harder than it actually is, or they might think there's more stuff that goes into it. So if you can kind of make it seem like there's not really a lot of stuff that goes into it, these people didn't even come from a sales background, which is true. You don't have to lie, you can just be honest. You can just tell them as it is. So just like Alex and Eamon, both of these guys left the high ticket paying engineering jobs to pursue high ticket remote sales. It's very important about this case study, Bob, because I see a big thing, especially with ads, for people don't really explain the case studies that they have. They just say, yeah, Jack made 10K a month, Eric made 20K, Max made 10K, Max made 5K, something like that. But that doesn't really give anyone any context. You get what I mean? So for example, with this case study, we used a specific type of person, which the types of people we wanted to attract were people that work jobs. So these case studies were people who work jobs before. They worked engineering jobs. They were getting paid well. But like I said, the job wasn't remote. They were probably working a bunch of long hours and they wanted to do something where they could work from home and obviously do whatever. So they left their jobs to pursue high ticket remote sales, and now they're both clearing over 15K per month in commissions. What I probably could have even added here, to be honest, to make the ad perfect, is I could have probably, there's no such thing as perfect, but to make the ad even better, I could have probably added like a timeline of how they did that. So to make people feel like, oh, quick, it's actually not a hard transition to go into. That's probably what I would have done, maybe if I had to rewrite the ad itself. But we like, when when you're doing your case studies, I'd rather have less case studies but more context than a bunch of case studies with no context. Because when there's no context, it leads people to start having like, you know, beliefs and thinking to themselves, okay, cool, how's this possible? They start having doubts because there's not enough information for them to, you know, deduce what's going on. But if you say, hey, Alex and Heyman, they worked jobs before, but then obviously they went through remote sales and now they're making this, there's a little bit more context so people can relate to that. You get what I mean? So start with before state, start with where they at, right, what they did, and then start with after state, and then that way you kind of have that whole thing. So even if you only have one or two people, when the case studies are that in depth, it makes it feel more real. It makes it feel more natural. And I also recommend, if I was to redo this as well, I would have videos of the case studies playing in the background. We've been testing that, and that's been working crazy in terms of getting people to obviously convert. Like, you can just, not a video of them talking, but maybe just like B-roll of you talking to the client on Zoom or whatever, to make it seem a little bit more real rather than just a screenshot. That's what I would have done differently. And then all Matthew, and then same thing over here, relatability, guys. Like, he could have probably had like 20 different screenshots. Matthew made 20K, Alex made 15K, you know, Heyman made 15K, but it wouldn't have hit the same. It wouldn't have had the actual same, you know, resistance, because, you know, these types of things, people will relate to other people that, you know, seem the way they seem. So if you want to learn exactly how you can do the same thing, the DM me the word closer, and I will show you exactly how you can make the exact same transition. So then here's the CTA. So like I said, this was a DM ad. Not really a fan of DM ads long term for scale, but it's good to just obviously push out to get some cash coming in, and then obviously validate offers. But in terms of like actually running real ads, I'm not really too much of a fan, but obviously made us a ton of money, so I'm pretty happy. So if you guys enjoying the video so far, obviously I break down how to, you know, scale cold traffic funnels and site coaching clients for your coaching or info programs. There's a newsletter down there. Tap in, it's pretty much free. So yeah, now I want to walk over the selling process itself. So how do we actually convert these people? So cool, we can make an ad to get someone to convert and obviously get someone to be interested, but how do we convert these people in order to obviously help them, you know, scale and make more money? So people are going to come in, they're going to say the word, you know, closer, as, you know, to a DM ad, and we message them. We're like, yo, appreciate the message, just curious, where you from, what do you do for work right now? Obviously the people that come in from his ads are a little bit on the younger side because he's 23, so they can understand the normal lingo. What I would have probably done is I would have probably said his name. I don't know why we just said yo. So from Cali, you know, Montreal, what makes you want to get into more closer? We're working in a restaurant, trying to relate to them a little bit. And then he's like, yeah, culture is for me. I don't know if I need to at least learn a skill. I won't be able to live a comfortable life. So this is stuff like I said, he's not, this notion didn't just come out of nowhere. He's probably seen a video where someone said, yo, you need to learn a skill to make money. So then it kind of comes in at the right time. So that's the thing about Facebook. Facebook will attract the right types of people. And obviously this person said, I work in a restaurant. Who else also worked at a restaurant? This guy over here. So like I said, guys, the ads will go to the people that you want it to go to if you write it the right way and if you structure it the right way. So it's like, these are the types of people that are going to come from our stuff. College, trying to get into business, really, blah, blah, just a backup plan outside school, makes more money if I drop out, for sure. What do you consider good money? Blah, blah. I think he said like whatever. And then we asked like, you know, what's stopping you? Guess his whole position. And then he just said some funny stuff over there. And, you know, whatever. So people are clowning on him, whatever. And then basically said I need to have at least an idea of what I'm doing to get some knowledge, 100%, because obviously there's not really much context about how it works. So we booked them on a call, and then on the call itself, you guys can probably go through the conversation. Too lazy to do that. On the call itself, before the call, actually, we send them a VSL that's structured in a very specific way. There's a very specific way. I should probably make a video on this because I think it's an actual interesting topic, because I have a different take when it comes to like information. A lot of people have this misconception where you have to spam them with videos. You have to like literally spam them with 100 hours worth of content before they buy. They have to watch 10 hours or whatever. That's not really how it works. All you have to do with your VSLs is just answer the right questions and basically handle the objections before they happen. Because there's some people that buy with less information than someone else. There's a certain type of person that would be like, I need more info. And there's a certain type of person that's like, oh, I just need my questions answered and then I'll buy the product. Because realistically speaking, most of the information they're going to get is when they're actually in the product. So a lot of people spend time trying to educate them, over spam them with value, which is a good thing. It's a good thing to do that. I'm not saying don't do that. But don't make the misconception where you have to send them 8 hours worth of content before someone buys. That's not the case. You just have to answer their questions in the right way, and you also have to handle the objections. And obviously, with a very simple selling process and a very simple sales process, you're going to achieve results like obviously generating this amount of money in a very short time with a very small amount of ad spend. I think it's like a 4 or 5x ROAS ish, which at scale is pretty decent. You know, $1 in, $5 out. So if you guys want to learn how you can design cold traffic campaigns that will print book calls for your sales calls, coaching business, whatever, do profit market research, you know, write creatives that will will attract you exact ICP, the exact types of people that you want to see, and obviously get you the exact types of quality leads. How you can achieve anywhere between 3 to 5, 10x ROAS, because obviously I feel like if you can do that, you pretty much created a money printing machine. Sit back while the ad leads bring money for you. You're probably expecting a CTA right now. There's no CTA as of right now. Join the free newsletter. I'll probably sell you something in there. Right now, there's nothing. Just go to the newsletter and we'll take it from there. Hope you guys enjoy this. That's pretty much it. And comment down below whatever videos you guys want me to make. I'll be making a lot of these because these are actually pretty fun. And yeah, we'll take it from there. Peace.